I don't even know how to start this video. Anyways, what's up, guys? It's Epic here. How y'all doing today, guys? I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all had a wonderful 4th of July. I had a pretty good one. I hung out with, some of my friends, or really only one of my friends. You know who you are, bro. And my awesome girlfriend, of course. But, yeah, today's video is a serious topic. Today we are going to be talking about addiction. I've made a few videos on this topic, but I want to talk about this one because it's a very serious thing. Addiction has messed with my life quite a bit. I'm actually going through it right now. I unfortunately relapsed on my vaping problem, and I've been vaping quite a bit, which that's kind of annoying. But today is kind of like a stepping stone to stopping that. I don't have my vape anymore. I actually just gave it away. I'm like, I'm gonna try my hardest to stay away from it, and get through these next couple days, which are gonna suck. But my whole life, man, I've noticed that I've had addictive tendencies. I get hooked to things very easily. The first thing I ever noticed I had a problem with was, to be honest, was pornography, which that really sucks. If anybody watching this video has a porn addiction, you know what it's like, man. It fucking sucks, okay? And you feel guilty every single time you do it, but you can't help but do it. Luckily, thank goodness, and the only person I can thank for this, because I don't know how I overcame it, is God, because luckily I am actually, I can't remember the last time I watched porn. So I think finally I've beat that problem. But yeah, that was one of my first real addictions that I noticed. Like, man, I'm doing this like almost every day, and it, like, sometimes multiple times a day, and I was like, it sucks. It really freaking sucked, man, because you just feel guilty, and it's not a good feeling. The next addiction that I noticed I had, the real big one at least, that really started tearing my life apart, was marijuana. I used to smoke weed pretty heavily. It started honestly, at first it wasn't a problem. I would do it every now and then. I would maybe smoke to sleep if I was struggling to go to sleep, and that's honestly the reason why I did it, and that's the reason why I think that's also another reason why I think I developed an addiction and a dependency, because I started doing it every time I go to sleep, and I noticed it was very easy to fall asleep if I had a little bit of marijuana in my system. So I started doing it. I'm like, all right, I can finally sleep. Life's good. I've always struggled with sleeping. I've actually made a whole separate video about this, and yeah, I've always struggled with trying to sleep, which that's never fun, of course. But yeah, man, it just became a daily thing. I don't know. I started doing it more often with some of my friends, and it became an everyday thing, and I couldn't put it down for so long. I think I smoked weed for like 4 years, and I only stopped doing that about a year and 7 months ago. So it's kind of crazy that I even broke free from that. I never thought in a million years that I would be able to stop, because I genuinely thought that I was like just stuck, like, because I knew that I was smoking too much, and I didn't know how to stop. I knew that I was afraid of feeling sick and withdrawing and not feeling good for a week, 2 weeks. That shit scared me so bad. But yeah, addiction is a very serious thing, guys. Addiction actually runs in my family. There's a lot of people in my family who have struggled with, addiction and drug use and all kinds of stuff like that. Alcoholism, anything, you name it. And it hurts because you see the person struggling and you try to tell them that, hey, this ain't good for you, and they don't really see it, until it's really bad, and then sometimes it can be too late. I actually have a story for you guys about my drug problem, my weed problem. I know that I say, like, oh, it's just weed, but this story might change your perspective on that. I remember I was I think 18, 19 years old, and I had just bought some more weed, and went home and immediately tried smoking it. So I get uncomfortable talking about this because it's so personal. Anyways, I smoked this weed, and I didn't know it at the time, but it had something laced in it. So I smoked this weed, and I start feeling super freaking sick, throwing up, passing out, not knowing what the fuck's going on. I figured I was just sick. I figured that, like, I was just, it was a coincidence. Maybe I caught something, just in the air or whatever. But that was not the case. It proceeded on for, I think, 2 days. And I was just throwing up so much. I was so sick, and I was so, like, just miserable. I actually started throwing up blood. I remember that. And they ended up telling me, they were like, do you use any substances? Like, do you smoke or anything? I was like, I smoke weed. Because at the time I didn't vape. I only smoked weed. It's like, you use any substances? Do you drink? Do you smoke weed? I'm just this 19-year-old kid, so I was kind of embarrassed talking about, that I smoke fucking weed, and I, do all this shit. So I tell the doctor what's going on, and they're like, we're gonna take some blood tests, and we're gonna see what's going on with you. I was like, okay. So they took my blood, and they come back, and they said, well, Mr. Caden, you have fentanyl in your bloodstream. And I'm like, what? Like, at the time, I was like in disbelief. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, whatever you smoked or ingested or whatever the fuck, it had fentanyl in it. And if you hadn't have come sooner, probably would have been dead. And that scared me, man. It really fucking scared me. And The sad part is, after this whole situation, I still didn't quit for another two years. So, addiction is a very real thing, guys, and it's scary, it's sad, and it's very real, and it just sucks. It really just sucks, man. But if you or a loved one is struggling with, addiction, and they might, if they don't see it and you see it, try to talk to them. Sometimes just a simple conversation, like, sometimes it can help, but sometimes it can't, and that's when you seek professional help. That's all I really have to say about this topic, guys. I love you all so very much. Hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July with your families and stuff. I hope you all were all safe and were responsible. Yeah, I'm gonna end this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.